Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. Today I wanted to talk about a concept within football development that I think is rarely discussed, but which I think can be hugely powerful for you and allow you to make much faster progress in your career, and that is the concept of momentum. So first, what exactly is momentum? In simple terms, you can describe it as an energy that builds up over time. Think of it like a ball rolling down a hill. It will start slow, but as it picks up more and more speed, it will become harder and harder to stop. The same concept can be applied to your football development, but before we do that, we have to understand that momentum can work in two ways: positive and negative. So when we're talking about positive momentum, we're talking about those times when everything seems to be working out for you. Every pass seems to hit its target, you're making the right runs, and in general, the game just seems to flow for you. It feels like everything is going right, and that is often because you have managed to build up positive momentum. On the other side, we have negative momentum, and that is when mistakes start to build on each other and it feels like you're entering a negative spiral. You miss a pass and then another, and then suddenly it feels like nothing is going your way. This negative momentum can drain you mentally if you let it, and it can be harder to bounce back. Now, you can also look at momentum not only in terms of positive and negative, but also in terms of a micro perspective and a macro perspective. In the micro perspective, or the short-term perspective, momentum might be the confidence that you build up over a few weeks or a few games. It's when you're entering that winning streak and it feels like everything is clicking. But momentum can also work in the long term, or the macro perspective, when we're looking at it from a perspective of a few months or an entire season. When you look at my 2024 season, you can definitely notice the power of momentum and how it really affects us as footballers. I'll talk more in detail about the season in upcoming videos, but in short, I started the season off very well. During the off-season and the preseason, I managed to build up that positive momentum, and once the season started in April, I was really in my best form. I played some of my best football, I felt incredibly strong physically, and I started almost every game. The ball had started to roll and it was gaining speed. Then a couple of months in, I got sick and I had to sit out for a few games. Of course, this is something that can happen to everyone, and at the time I didn't think much about it. I was only gone for a few weeks, but then what had happened was that I had lost that positive momentum that I had started to build up over the first few months of 2024, and then once I came back, I never really managed to get back to my previous performance levels of the early season. I started getting injured, I got sick again, I performed bad, and I started to see more and more of the bench. Of course, I had a few great moments here and there, but I wasn't very consistent. So what should you do if you lose momentum as I did? I think the key here is to not stress about it. If you're going through a rough period, worrying about it won't help you. It will only pull you deeper into that negative spiral. Instead, I think you should try to get back to the basics. Focus on the small wins, the little things that you know that you can control and that you can do well. Start building back up from there, and before you know it, your momentum will come back. And when you're riding that wave of momentum, take advantage of it. This is the time to push yourself further, whether that's setting new goals or taking on new challenges. Momentum is your chance to make the most out of your hard work. So how do you create and how do you keep that momentum going? It all starts with consistency. Every day, focus on building off the previous day's work. Whether it's a skill you're working on, fitness, strengthening your mind, keep adding new layers on top of what you've already learned. Over time, this will build up your momentum naturally. Momentum isn't just about your physical performance, it's also about your mental performance. When you're in a good rhythm, your confidence will skyrocket and you will feel like you can take on anything. That mental boost is huge for you, and it can carry you through those harder games and those tougher days. Remember, momentum is like a wave and it won't last forever, but once it starts, you need to ride it, maintain it, and use it to push yourself forward. Whether you're currently in a positive flow or working to break out of a bad period, momentum is one of the most powerful tools in football. So focus on building that momentum, protect it, and use it to your advantage. That's all for this time. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.